Buongiorno, come stai? Mi chiamo Little Linguini, and this YouTube channel is dedicated to all things linguistics. Today I'll be discussing concurrent multilingual acquisition and maintenance, which is just a fancy way of saying learning and maintaining multiple foreign languages at the same time. If you're a language nerd like me and you have ever traveled to a foreign country or a new place and heard people speaking a new language, and you've been like a kid in a candy store where you just had to have it, you just had to learn that language, this video will hopefully help you curb some of that enthusiasm and channel it in a more productive and effective way so that you can learn all of the foreign languages that you hope to learn. I'll kick the video off with a discussion of different language learning goals. Then I'll discuss how those goals apply to different categories of languages. And then I'll conclude the video with a discussion of my own training routine as a linguist. Before you start on a new language learning journey, it's really important that you set realistic goals for where you'd like to end up with your language learning journey and how much time you're willing to put into achieving those goals. Linguists generally agree that there are 5 stages of language learning proficiency. These levels can be measured stage 1 through 5, with stage 1 being pre-production phase or elementary proficiency. In this phase, you're able to passively understand basic phrases, but you are not yet able to speak the language. In the second stage, you're in intermediate proficiency, and this is a proficiency that you need to sort of get around basic sort of tourist phrases. Where's the bathroom? Where's the restaurant? And you're able to sort of string together a couple words and phrases, but you're not really able to use it in a working environment yet. Stage 3 is a big leap where you move into a minimum professional proficiency. And in this level, you're expected to be able to converse with a decent amount of fluency and be able to navigate most workplace situations. So there's a big jump between stage 2 and stage 3. Stage 4 is considered full professional proficiency. And in this stage, you are expected to be able to converse on most topics without making many errors. And stage 5, which is native or bilingual proficiency, which is very rare for a foreign language learner. And in this stage, you've sort of reached a full fluency where you're able to understand a foreign language as well as you are able to understand your own native language. Once you've determined what your goals are for your language learning journey, not all languages are created equal. The Foreign Service Institute has divided language learning difficulty for English speakers into 4 different categories. The first group takes about 600 to 750 hours to become stage 3 or a 3 level, depending on how you're measuring it, level of proficiency. And those languages, again, for English, native English speakers, include Danish, Dutch, French, Italian, Norwegian, Portuguese, Swedish, Spanish, and Romanian. The second group of foreign languages takes about 900 hours for English speakers to learn, and that group includes German, Swahili, and Indonesian. It's a fairly small group. And then the third group is about 1,100 hours of language learning. And these languages include Bulgarian, Czech, Farsi, Dari, Urdu, Turkish, Russian, Somali, Polish, and Hebrew. And the fourth group of languages, which is considered the most difficult for native English speakers to learn, takes about 2,200 hours of study to learn, and that includes Chinese, Japanese, Korean, and Arabic. So now that you have an idea about different levels of proficiency and how long it would take for each individual language to achieve a stage 3 level of proficiency, you as a linguist have to decide if your language learning goals are realistic and whether you're going to prioritize them and be able to put in the hours in the day to achieve the level of proficiency that you're setting out to achieve. On the following slide, I'll go ahead and share what my typical week looks like in terms of language learning, and I'll just talk you guys through how I work that routine. one important thing to remember with this is that not everybody's language learning schedule or journey is going to look the same. People ask me often for my language training schedule, and the truth is, the best schedule for you is the one that you're going to stick to consistently. So this is the schedule that I know that I am able to meet week in and week out. Even on weeks where I travel or where I have a lot going on, I meet at least 80% of my language training schedule for the week. So for starters, I consider stage 1 and 2 language learning to be the acquisition phases, and stage 3 and above to be maintenance phases. And that influences the types of materials I'm using for language study. I'll take you through the weekly schedule now. I pretty much live with earphones in my ears. So every day while I'm getting ready, I start off listening to the BBC Arabic podcast, which is about 35 minutes long. Because of how that newscast is structured, with one in-depth topic and interviews, it exposes me to a variety of Arabic dialects as well as a variety of topics. Italian, I listen to when I go to the gym, and those audios are structured to teach intermediate Italian, like Learn Italian in Your Car podcasts or Pimsleur, which I like. Because I'm only in stage 2, I'm still working on acquiring all of the vocabulary I need before I can move into more of a free-form, normal podcast. French and Spanish, I do very passive and flexible maintenance with. Because I've been doing both for so long, I find that just playing Spanish and French music while I'm cooking and doing things around the house is enough to keep up with the vocabulary I need. Depending on the week, I try to watch maybe one TV show or a newscast in one of those languages, but I don't find I need to do a lot of active maintenance because those are stage 4 languages for me. As you can see from my weekday schedule, all of those language opportunities are built into my daily routine. It's habitual for me. I don't have to go way out of my way to carve out time for language training. Farsi and Turkish are a different story. Both require me to sit down and actively do language learning through structured programs, including all the boring stuff, grammar, verb charts, really fundamental building blocks of the languages. I found courseware for both that I'm chipping through on the weekends. Stage 1 languages require a lot of active, focused time and effort. Launching a new language is the hardest part. I know that if I'm not going to get to my stage 1s on the weekend, I need to fit the same amount of time in somewhere else in the week. Otherwise, I'll fall behind. The time is there. You just have to prioritize and be consistent with language learning. Also, you can't get frustrated that you don't speak Farsi like tomorrow. I expect it will take me another year or so before I even get to stage 2 with Farsi. And that's just all part of the language learning journey. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Little Linguini today. I'm really looking forward to sharing more linguist tips and tricks for you guys in the future. Ciao!